I'm Alli. I came out after 20 years of marriage and I have 3 kids.
I'm Melisa and I have 2 kids and I came out at 37 after an 11-year marriage.
This podcast is about coming out later and the struggles and victories that come with it.
When coming out feels like the end of the world, but it's really just the beginning.
This is the Lesbian Chronicles. Welcome to the Lesbian Chronicles, where it's Pride Month. Happy Pride.
Happy Pride. Exciting stuff.
Kicking it off June 1st.
I know. I'm excited about this Pride Month because I'm going to be in Denver for Denver Pride.
I know. When do you go?
Not until the end of the month. It's like one of the last weekends.
That's okay.
So
it'll give you something to look forward to.
Exactly. And I'm out of town right now. Otherwise, I would be there's a Pride 5K in Atlanta on Sunday, on June 2nd.
Oh, nice.
And I would have loved to have done that, but I'm in the state that's probably most likely that I'd be hate crimed as a gay person.
Florida. Good old Florida.
I just went to the grocery store and I always bring my reusable bags. And I had like one that's just like a standard like Publix one. And I just grabbed it. And then I get there and I realize that inside is my like full on rainbow bag.
Oh God.
And I'm like, oh, okay, well, we're just gonna go for it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm like walking out of there like, no one hate crime me, please.
Exactly. What? Did anyone look at you funny?
No, and you know what's funny? Actually, I'm probably giving Florida a little bit too much. Well, no, I'm not giving Florida too much shit. That's not true. I saw a lesbian couple the moment that I got here, like just coming up with like my stuff in the elevator, and they were on the elevator with their kid. And I so wanted to be like, you, me, you, what?
Yeah, we're together in this. You know what I think
Like,
is weird is that like I'm down there a lot because my family lives in Florida, South Florida. But I almost feel the opposite. Like they overcompensate for this. They think that I think it, so they overcompensate with being like overly nice to me everywhere I go. Not just
your
my
family or
family,
just
but like everyone. Like if I go to Publix and it's like if I'm with Maria, it's like, "Hi, can I help you today?" Or like everyone's like
my
overly
God.
nice. I almost feel like because I don't know, like they want to show that they're not
They
part of it,
know.
even though they are.
Yeah. Well, and I think part of it is like the region of Florida that I'm in. I'm in the Panhandle. You know, a lot of people just refer to it as Lower Alabama.
Oh wow.
So
Okay.
it's a bit more conservative. But you know, I
Yeah.
know like Orlando, South Florida, Orlando especially is like really gay friendly.
I would say where
So
my parents are, it's a place called Palm Island, and it's probably pretty conservative, although there are a lot of Miami transplants there. But it's like my sister too is like, Alli, nobody fucking cares. Like you're the
yeah,
only one in this area that's
I
even
don't
thinking about it.
know.
I don't know. Like
I don't
we'll walk
know.
into a restaurant and I'm like, and Cassie's like, nobody gives a shit. Like
I still
stop
feel a
making
little
yourself. I
uneasy.
know, but I'm starting to wonder if it's just our stuff.
Maybe, but I think that it's warranted. But also, like, we aren't very visibly gay. I can be
Yeah.
sometimes. Definitely when I went out to your lake house the other day and I stopped at some rando gas station in Alabama.
You
I
felt it.
told you this.
Yeah.
Because I walked in there and like these women just turn and stare at me.
They
And
can't
I'm
even
like,
believe
oh,
their
I'm
eyes.
just way too gay
I
right now.
know.
Like
I know.
way too gay.
But isn't
But
it crazy though that like our
yeah.
neighbors there don't care? Like they come over, they brought us bread.
Yeah.
They're like, nobody gives a shit. So then like we were worried
Mm-hmm.
about it when we
They
bought the
brought us
house.
bread and then we had diarrhea for a week.
No, like even when we bought the house, I remember saying to the agent, like, hey, our kids are gonna be here. Like this can't feel bad. Like it needs to feel really good. This is a getaway for us. And he too, who's like a total country guy, was like, nobody cares.
No one cares.
No one
Okay, well,
cares.
I'm
It's
gonna
like,
try to like
try to
have that
embrace that.
mindset and maybe that'll make me less self-conscious about it. But it's like even though I'm self-conscious about it, I'm not like I find myself not being willing to change and mold
Yeah,
anymore.
good. Yeah.
Like I mean, I don't know what I could have done in that moment that I walked in the gas station. All those women were like, it was like, it felt like walking into like, the beauty shop in Still Magnolias where
Yeah,
like
yeah,
they're
yeah,
all
yeah,
sitting there
yeah.
like hen
Yeah.
housing,
Yeah.
gossiping. And then
Yeah.
like, here I come in Vans, high tops, and a trucker hat.
They're like, what the hell? What is
Who are
that?
you? Where did you come from? Um, but
Oh
yeah, I think,
God.
yeah, sometimes it's just our own shit that's like
That's
internalized
what
and we're
I'm
scared
honestly
of.
starting to wonder. I mean, I between the lake and then Florida, I just feel I don't know. I haven't had one issue. I thought I would. I go into it thinking I will, and then my sister always like level sets me. Like,
Yeah.
stop being so egocentric. Nobody's thinking about you. No
No
one
one
gives a shit.
cares.
No one gives
Don't
a
think about
shit.
you at all.
I don't think about you at all. I said that to someone the other day, joking. They were saying something about. I totally did it. I'm like, oh, I don't think about you at all.
Oh my God, it's such a dig.
Such a dick.
So
It
harsh.
totally is. It totally is.
You deserve some praise for building a fire on your own the other day.
Thank you. Do you know what? Yeah, a few people have commented to me about that. Thank you. I'm trying to do a lot of things on my own. Do you know what I started to do on my own today? And I didn't do it. Reed ended up taking over. You're not even going to believe this one. This one's like
Oh
a whole
God.
new level. I started to pretend or think I could cut the grass like fully, like start it, do it. I'm trying to pull the thing. I really was trying to start it so that Reed could maybe take over, like this could be his job. And we couldn't even figure out how to like pull the thing to have it go.
Oh,
And I've
I don't
cut
think I
grass
would
in the
know how to do that.
past. So, but my neighbor was outside. So he's like, oh my God, let me show you. It's so easy. And it was so easy.
I feel like I did it and I broke it. Like, because I mowed the lawn. Someone's gonna email us again about this, how we don't know how to do lawn care. Um, I did it once when I was married, just because I wanted to like prove that I could do it. And he was like,
Yeah.
all right, go
I
for it.
used
And
to do
I
it. Yeah.
broke the thing when I started it.
Oh, you're too strong.
So I'm too strong,
You're too strong.
too
I know how to do
masculine.
it. I just didn't know how, like, I've never done it with this mower. Anyway, it got done. Reed did it. It's going to be his new chore. He's very excited about it. But yeah, the fire
That's what I
starting
need.
was legit. Let me give you guys a little tip that a lesbian shared with me. So here's how you light a fire really quickly. Save all the lint out of your dryer. Like save the lint in a bag. Like as we dry clothes, we just put the lint in this like bag and it builds up. And then every time we go to do the fire, if you take that lint, it makes it so simple. I mean, you saw how fast I was able to
Yeah.
do it. Like I didn't think I could, and I did it in no time.
That's also proof as to why dryers are such a fire hazard and
Valid.
why you should
Yeah.
clean out your lint trap.
Clean out your lint trap because it literally goes up in flames. So Maria did teach me this, but other lesbian taught me about the lint. You take the lint, then you put the small sticks on top of the lint, light it up, and it starts. And then you can put your logs on and you're good to go.
Yeah.
I'm basically a Girl Scout now.
100%. You at least
100%.
got a badge out of that one.
Yeah, I did a lot of stuff that weekend.
You
Like,
did. I was impressed. You drove a boat
yeah, I drove the boat, which
and
I don't
parked
normally
it.
do. Parked the boat. I did, and you were able to do the grill.
We're
Yeah,
just
we're
a
pretty independent.
lesbian
We may maybe
power
we'll Golden
team.
Girl. Exactly. We're
I
lesbian.
know.
Maybe we'll Golden Girl this thing.
That sounds pretty promising right now because nothing else in my life sounds promising at the moment.
Yeah.
I'm just
Okay.
like,
Well, I'm a sure thing.
I'm the last
So
kid picked for dodgeball, and
no
I'm,
way. No
oh
way.
God.
Not on my watch.
So,
Yeah, so
okay.
dating icks,
Um,
we got a little response that we want to address. So I'll let you address it since you were the one who did it.
oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I know. I'm the one who said this. And we were talking about the masks and COVID, and I said, like, is this even still a thing? I didn't mean like, is COVID still a thing? I know it is. I know that there are a lot of people who still choose to wear masks. That's amazing, great. Especially if you're hanging out with someone who's like high risk. So anyway, I'm not trying to undermine what happened with COVID or anything like that by any means. It was just more so of like, if you only have 6 photos on a dating app, don't choose a photo that like is covering half your face. Bottom line.
Or and maybe too, like just if you could step away from everyone and like take it down for 2 seconds, take the picture and put it back on and do the 6 foot thing. Like if you're really, really worried about it.
Yeah. Yeah, if
I
you're
think
like,
your
oh wow,
point
I've
is
got like
you want to see
great
them.
lighting in here,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
I need to take a picture. Yeah, like if you can just pull down the mask for a second, take a picture, great. You know, I get that. But when you've only got 6 pictures, like I want to see full face.
yeah. So that's all she meant. And definitely COVID is absolutely a thing for many people still. And yeah, we definitely did not mean to offend anybody. I love that it
Absolutely
was
not.
you who you were offensive because
I
it's usually
know, and
me.
I'm one of the ones that's always like, oh, I'm gonna cut this out.
Yeah. Anyway, but yeah, apologies and please don't hold it against us. We didn't mean it that way.
No, and yeah, that's the other thing. It's like we've recorded how many hours of this podcast? It's really like sometimes we just you don't think about every word that comes out of your mouth and that kind of thing. It's
Yeah,
not easy.
it's
I'm
definitely
not
not
perfect.
easy. Did you think of any others while you were like because I thought of one when I've been in New York all week with Tatum and walking around New York, everybody's smoking now. Like there's a
Like
lot
actual
of
cigarettes?
smokers, cigarettes, like
Huh.
standing outside restaurants, just puffing away, cigarette, cigarette, cigarette. And I
That's
said
wild.
to Tatum, I'm like, Tatum was there and her roommate was like walking with us. And I was like, oh my God, like I've never seen this many smokers. And the roommate was like, yeah, it's kind of making a comeback in New York. Like people are smoking. And of course, Tatum is a runner. She's like, I don't worry about it, mom. Like I'll smoke pot, but I'm not smoking cigarettes ever. But I was thinking, like, it surprised me. Like all these like normal people. I mean, they look like 22-year-old women smoking. I'm just not
Yeah.
used to seeing that because in Atlanta, that's not the case.
Well, and I feel like most people who are doing that kind of stuff, they vape now.
It's all an
And
ick for me. Let me just
I
tell
know,
you, it's a
same,
huge ick, a massive ick.
100%. I did date someone who vaped and it drove me crazy. Like
I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't
it's
like how it looks. I don't like how it smells. I don't like any of it.
yeah. Well, and like if I want to be with you long term, I don't want you dying at 55 or having a double lung transplant. Like we
Yeah,
don't know all the information on it. It is not a healthier option. If anything, I think it's probably a worse option than tobacco, like regular
right.
cigarettes. And I also have a firm thing on that because of like seeing how one of my best friends almost died from smoking cigarettes at a
Wow.
very young age.
Wow.
Luckily, she
Yeah.
pulled through, but I have not touched anything like that since, and I won't.
Yeah.
But that is definitely one of those things. If I see smoking or vaping, I'm like, mm-mm,
But
no,
this wasn't
no.
even like vaping. Like these people are smoking cigarettes. They're
That's
standing
really
outside,
shocking to me.
walking around. They're sitting at the parklets, like outside the restaurants, just smoking. Like it just, I wasn't
Yeah,
used to it. And like we're jogging and like hanging out. And it just really surprised me. I still love New York
yeah,
City, but I
for
just felt
sure.
this.
And I I do want to say too, if anyone's struggling with quitting smoking or
It
vaping,
sucks.
there is a book by they're different books by Alan Carr, The Easy Way to Quit Smoking, The Easy Way to Quit Vaping. I've heard so many people say that they have success from reading or listening to that book. So if it's a habit you want to break, that's an option. Oh,
And
and
somebody
the amount and
help me with quitting Diet Coke. Like I don't drink a lot of it, but I probably have one. I'm down to like one mini can a day.
the easy way to quit Diet
The
Coke.
easy way to quit Diet Coke. Like I would argue, and somebody might say, like for me, smoking's an ick. I'm sure somebody could argue Diet Coke is just as bad. Although I don't think so, because people aren't dropping dead of the way they are lung cancer from smoking over the years. But I know Diet Coke's horrible for me. I know all the things. But it's like I really look forward to it, like a drug addict with my needle and my tourniquet. Like the ice, the noise, like I love the whole thing, the whole
Yeah.
experience of my Diet Coke. And I want to quit. I don't, people are like, oh, do seltzer water. I just don't think it's the same.
No,
So
because
I'm
you're not
just
getting the
like,
sweetness. It's that sweetness kick.
and it's like, I don't even want the regular Coke. I like Diet Coke.
Yeah.
So
I will
I
drink
don't
a
know.
regular Coke maybe like every 2 weeks or so. I used to drink Coke Zero every day, and then they changed the recipe, and now it doesn't taste the same to me, so I don't like it, which I'm
Okay,
like,
that
thank God.
helped. Yeah,
Yeah.
thank God. That's
I
what I
also used
need.
to kind of what you're saying with the Diet Coke. I felt that way about coffee, like the coffee make creamer that
Yeah.
has like all the chemicals in it. That
Yes.
got me out of bed for years.
That's what I'm saying.
And I'm trying to shift away from that. Like I was just at Publix today looking at all the coffee creamers, comparing the sugars, because the thing is, it's a tablespoon for a serving size. And
But
if
that's
you
not
really
even it.
measure out how much
Yeah,
you
it's
pour in there,
terrible.
you're pouring in like half a cup.
It's terrible,
So,
but it's not even that. It's also just the fake bullshit that's in there. Like
right.
I've switched. I'm still getting a ton of calories because I drink a ton of creamer, but I switched to like a healthier kind, but it's still like a ton of calories. I don't know.
Yeah.
This is becoming
And
really
it's not,
depressing.
I know, right. And for me, it's not even necessarily the calories or whatever, but sugar. Like I've noticed ever since I turned 40, I eat sugar and it's like automatically on my body.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm
No,
like, my sugar intake is massively down, which is so hard,
I
but
know.
I
Things are
love
a
getting rid of it.
changing. Things are a changing.
I guess the other dating app ick that we left off last week that I noticed was the duck face pictures.
Yeah.
I don't think we mentioned that one,
I
but
thought we
that
did.
always drives
No.
me
Okay. Yeah.
crazy.
That's horrible. That's horrible. Yeah. I
I
don't
guess it
love
kind of
that.
goes in line with the Cindy Lou Who's mom
Yeah.
face,
I don't.
but
Yeah. Just be normal. Can we all just agree we're going to be
just be
normal?
normal. And the other thing I wanted to point out is I have such a hard time, like, kind of not getting invested in people sometimes on these apps. Like, I'm doing way better than I would like a few years ago. A few years ago, I would like connect with someone and be like, we're getting married like next week.
Yeah. Yeah. You start
Like
building the
envisioning,
story. Yeah. You
yeah,
build the story in your head. This is the topic of our episode. So yeah, launch in like that personal feeling.
yeah, you get excited about someone. You're like, oh
Yeah.
man, they're my age. They sound like they've got a great job. Their pictures are great. And maybe you don't hear anything ever. Like you never match with them.
Right.
Um, I have learned, I have a friend who I've seen on the apps and I talked to her about it and she was like, "Oh, I forgot I even had the apps." She's like, "I haven't opened that thing in like months." So
Wow.
it's
Okay.
like there's
Yeah. You
people
need to
like
like,
that. That might
yeah.
be why you're not matching with them. They've just
Right.
completely forgotten that the app existed.
Yeah.
Or you will connect with them, maybe message a little bit, which is always so freaking hard. Like I don't know what it is because there's people that'll be like they don't want you just to be like, "Hey, how's your weekend?" Like they think that's boring. There's times where maybe there's something on their profile, so I'll like ask something about that and just try to like start the conversation from there. That tends to work pretty well to get people to respond. But sometimes people don't respond at all. And I've done it too. Okay. Like
Yeah.
on Bumble, you only have 24 hours to respond once you match. And like a couple weeks ago, my weekend was so busy. I had I think two matches on there over the weekend that expired just because I was so busy. I didn't have time to pick up my phone and respond. Like I saw them, but then I was just like, ah, like I don't
Can you
really feel
still
like it right
tell
now.
after the message goes away? Can you tell who sent it to you?
Yeah, like it gives you the option to rematch with them, but you have to pay money and I don't feel like paying anything for these apps because they're expensive too.
Yeah. And I wonder,
Like,
yeah, like the odds of yeah, let me think about that. I guess what I think though is that I look at it as like tiers of communication. And to me, it's like that texting somebody on an app would be like the lowest tier. And then it's like texting someone on the phone is like the next tier. Then calling someone is like getting
yeah,
higher. And then FaceTiming someone is like, whoa, that's one. That's the best
right.
one.
Like as far as like
So
priorities go and stuff, like
priorities, yeah.
yeah.
So to me, it's
Um,
like you're on the bottom tier if you're messaging someone. So I might respond, I might not.
yeah, it's not, it doesn't feel like there's this sense of like urgency like there is when you have a text from someone. And like also I've talked to some people and it's been a week between them messaging me and they'll respond and be like, "Hey, sorry, I just haven't been on the app lately. Like, hope your week's been good. How was XYZ thing that you said you were doing?" And that's just like something I want people to keep in mind when you are like attaching yourself to the outcome of these people. You're not hearing anything and your feelings are like really starting to get hurt, like
Yeah,
they could just not be on the app. They could respond in a week. Like I feel like all of this stuff is kind of like normalized within the like app users.
right. Yeah, it's like
Like,
and if you know that, then maybe it's easier for you to go in and message somebody because you're not, like you said, attaching yourself to the outcome. You're more just like trying this thing. I mean, it's like not a don't do the thing where now it's like, oh my God, we matched and I'm really attracted to her and she lives here and she has 2 dogs. I have 2 dogs. And then it's just like this whole thing. And then you don't hear from them for a week. And then you're trying to keep the conversation going. They're kind of like, whatever, they're busy doing 4 things. Like, I guess yeah, look at it as like the lowest tier. And it's not don't attach yourself to the outcome. I love how you said that.
Yeah. And there's just not an urgency there for people a lot of the time. And I think if there is an urgency, then that's kind of a red flag. Like
But it's
if
like,
you're
then how do
so
I win?
eager,
I can't be
I
urgent
know,
and I
man.
can't blow you off.
It's like, how does this work? And
Yeah,
how do you know? And like, what's the happy medium? Like, because for me, when I connect with someone and I can look at their pictures and be like, I definitely would like feel like I would be attracted to this person. I do feel like we'd have a good conversation. I don't want to sit there and message a bunch on the apps first. Like, I want to be like, okay, we connected, like, cool, let's find time to go get coffee, like stat. Because I don't want to
wow.
waste my
Okay, so
time.
you're even taking it higher than my FaceTime call. You want to
I
go
know. Well,
from
yeah, I don't know. It is kind of weird, like, because my time's so limited, maybe I should try to do a FaceTime call before doing coffee with some people.
here's a brilliant solve for this problem. I think there needs to be some kind of situation where people can Zoom date. So it's like maybe you could have like you pick 10 people are in the hat, everybody gets to match for Zoom for 5 minutes each. And then you just go person to person to person to person to person and see like how that feels. I mean, you bang out
You think
basically
I'm going to set up all of my dates? Like, I'm going to set up all these people on Zoom
no, not you. I'm saying there needs
and
to be like a
just knock out my
service.
dates.
Not you. There needs to be a service out there that would let
Oh,
you sign up and you get basically a quick 5 minutes. I'm going to do 5 minutes with you. Then it ends. I got 5 minutes, 5 minutes, 5 minutes with each person. And then at the end of the thing, you've met 5 people. I mean, I can tell you within 5 minutes pretty clearly. I think on a Zoom, I could probably have a pretty good idea if I'd be interested in having another 10-minute Zoom. And so I think
yeah.
that could be an
I
interesting
guess
way.
what's tough for me right now is that I am going into this wanting just to be friends with people. And if something more happens, great. But I'm not in an urgent way, like trying to find a new relationship. And so if I'm saying like we need to Zoom before we meet, it's almost like setting this precedence of like this is a romantic thing because I want to see like what you look like and what your mannerisms are.
But would it be if you'd be the same way if you were looking for a friend? I mean, I don't want to go hiking with some random if I'm not into that friendship. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't have to be I'm not saying this is like the end all. I'm just saying like maybe that would be a way to cut out some bullshit because by the time you get ready, drive to the thing, go get the coffee, stand in the line, sit down, like you've just eaten up half my morning.
I drove up to Atlanta to go have coffee with someone, and luckily I had a Botox appointment already scheduled, so I had a reason to be up there. But we were supposed to meet up and have coffee. I get canceled on about an hour beforehand. Now, she did say she had an emergency with her kid. Okay, whatever. I get it. That happens. But I was kind of like, God damn it. Like I drove up here to do
Yeah.
this. I got dressed. I did all the things and now we're not meeting up. So I did my Botox and I went to Trader Joe's and just kind of like at least got some stuff done up in Atlanta that I wanted to do, I guess.
Did
But
you have reconnect after?
and that's just it. So I was trying. Now I've had people cancel on me, back in my 20s. I remember I was really excited to go on this date with this guy. Like he and I had met in the dorms. He didn't go to my school, but he was there. And like we literally spent the whole night talking. It was great. And then we were supposed to hang out the following weekend. And he calls me and he's like, my sister got in a car accident. I can't make it. And I was like, oh my God, that's terrible.
Yeah, I'm so
Right.
sorry. Yeah.
And I don't like, I never saw him ever again. Never again.
Okay.
I
Okay.
don't
So
think the
then it
car
was
accident
like,
existed. For all I know,
okay.
he didn't even have a sister.
Yeah.
That kind of comes up for me sometimes because that, like, I don't know. For
That's your
canceling the last
experience.
second, like
You're like,
it does need to be a good excuse if it's the last second.
yeah, they feel like they have to have a good excuse, and you're filtering all these new things that have happened through the lens of this happened to me in my 20s with this guy, where it was you think bullshit, and it might have been bullshit, but I guess I feel like that.
So I followed up just being like,
Yeah,
I hope everything's okay. Like checked in a little while later. Everything was fine. And then tried to follow up to set up another date. She was like, yeah, I totally want to. Like, I'm going out of town, but when I get back, definitely nothing.
yeah,
And I'm like, okay, did the emergency actually happen then?
yeah. Or was this
Did
just like
it?
you're buying time? But she must feel so like she cannot just say no.
Well, right.
But
And like in my eyes, I'm like, okay, that, bullet dodged. Like she's obviously either like not great at communication or she could have met someone else and she just
yeah,
didn't want to say that. Like there's
right.
a number of things that could have happened in that situation. Bottom line, like I didn't let it like wreck my day,
No, she doesn't even know
you
you. And
know?
you did match, so she obviously liked you enough to want to see you
Right.
again.
Yeah, people need to keep this in mind. Like you've got to kind of have your like body armor on to do these dating apps
Yeah,
and to be
right.
dating. Like you got to just let it all bounce off of you because this stuff is going to happen.
Yeah, all the
Like
time.
it's going to happen. I'm an outgoing person. Like I have a good personality and
Right.
it's happening to me,
Of course. That must make people feel so good because you're right. If it's happening to you, it's happening to everyone.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not
Yeah.
perfect by any means. I
I
know
guess too, I
people.
think of it like a business meeting. If I had at the last minute to cancel a business meeting, I would definitely be like within 24 hours, probably sending a thing saying, hey, I want to get this rescheduled. How are these times? To me, it's like, so yeah, it feels like the right thing to do to, if you're going to make up a bullshit excuse, be the one to follow up. I shouldn't even have to reach out.
Right.
You broke the plan. Now it's
Exactly.
on you to remake the plan. Let's just
And
bring back nice.
I'm really trying to be like nice and like
Yeah,
normally like I would have waited to see if she reached out again, but I was trying to be empathetic. Like, okay,
yeah,
I and feel like I believed what she said, right?
right.
So that's why I reached out again. But now I'm like, yeah, no. But at least I can like know that I feel like I did the right thing in that instance,
Yeah, for
you
sure.
know?
And I think the more you do the right thing, the more the right thing comes back. So it's
Yeah.
just like, I really believe that. I know it's like, I'm not one of those really out there people, but I definitely believe that you just do the right thing. Like you just say to yourself, like, if this was me, what would I want? And in her
Yeah.
case, if she met someone else or she's back with her girlfriend or who knows, I think it would be real. It's brave, but it would be really cool to say, I am not in a position. She doesn't have to. I'm not in a position right now. I'm really sorry. I know we matched. You're gorgeous. You're wonderful. When I'm ready, I'll reach out to you. I'm just not in the space right now. Like if somebody
Yeah.
said that to me, I would be like, that's great. No problem.
And I don't think most people have the presence of mind to do that.
I think it's just to be the courteous person.
Yeah, like let's stop ghosting. Like let's stop just falling off the face of the earth because you did interact with someone. Like wrap it
Yeah.
up.
Yeah, wrap it
It's
up, wrap it up. And
not
just say the thing, like just do the thing. It sucks for
that.
3 minutes.
Yeah, that's true.
All right, my friend. Well, enjoy the rest of your weekend.
Thank you. You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Want to support the Lesbian Chronicles podcast? Rate us and write a review on Apple Podcast or Spotify.
We love listener feedback. If you'd like to share your story, email us at melissaandalli@gmail.com. That's Melissa, MELISA, and Alli, ALLI, @gmail.com. Or follow us on Instagram at Lesbian Chronicles.